Hey, you guys. All right. So I want to go over a very simple concept. Well, actually, it seems simple, but it's not that simple of a concept. It's the buy low and sell high. So when you get into trading or investing, everyone says buy low, sell high. I'm sure you've heard that terminology before. And it seems really obvious. It's like, doesn't take much of a genius to say, okay, yeah, of course you buy low and you sell high. That's how you make money. But the thing with this is, in actuality, new traders and investors, and also even professionals, don't follow this. The average investor or individual buy high and sell low. That's just the way it works. And the reason for this is there's a huge psychological factor when everybody's in on something and everybody there's a bull run, there's an over exuberance of media attention towards that stock or crypto. Everybody feels safe. It feels like the right thing to do because everybody's doing it. When it goes the opposite direction and everyone's saying don't do it, that's when people feel uncomfortable. And so I know it seems like a very simplistic concept to buy low and sell high, but this is something you have to really you really have to understand, you have to almost meditate on it, look at the charts, understand your psychology and your feelings and how you're feeling and what emotions are going through you when the moving of the chart and when pullbacks versus when there's bull runs, and what your actual psychology is. So just really quickly, so a couple points here. So this is not just seen with investing and trading, but also with real estate. Like one of the first times I really saw this, like really evident to me, was in the real estate market, where there was a huge number of people I knew that had gotten into real estate. They were, they hadn't been, actually some of them had been in real estate for a long time, and some were new to real estate. And they were either flipping houses, they got into buying like apartment complexes, flipping apartment complexes, and they were deep into the market. And right when we had the 2007, 2008 crash, everybody that I knew was in the market. I would ask them, so what are your strategies moving forward here in terms of now that the market crashed? And the majority of them were like, this is a terrible time. The market just crashed. This is a terrible time to be investing in real estate. I'm thinking, what? No, you want to be investing in real estate. This is the time you want to go in. And you can see people run for the market, and that's the average investor. Now there's even the psychology of the professional, the people that you see this not just with newbies and people that are new to the industry in trading and investing, but you also see it with professionals. This happens all the time. And it not just happens with investing, it happens with day trading and swing trading. It also can be applied. So on shorter time frames, it definitely is applied as well. And number 4 here, do the opposite of the masses. Break groupthink and use critical thought. One of the biggest, this isn't just with trading and investing, the ability to have critical thought and to analyze information and have critical thinking and not be affected by groupthink. Now you can listen to groupthink, you can hear what different people are saying, you can look at what the group is saying versus what they're not saying, but to have critical thought. The majority of the time, what the group is thinking is probably wrong, the majority of the time. So if people are getting too eager, I mean, we saw this with the actual the bull run here with, I mean, everyone knows Bitcoin here to the US dollar, that we had this huge parabolic run up here. And as you know, a lot of people came into the market, were buying up here at the top here. And then they wrote it down and they sold it at the bottom, or they were selling it as they went down. And the fear. So there's this feeling, emotional feeling, when you see the market running up like this, there's that feeling that it's going to continue to go and it's never going to stop. And that's why a lot of people like to trade breakouts, because they can see it, they can see the momentum moving up versus buying pullbacks, because it's reacting. When you're buying a pullback, you're actually, when the market's coming back and you're buying that pullback, that you're actually, there's a fear for a lot of people. There's a feeling that maybe it won't change direction again, it'll keep going down. So just really quickly, so just with the whole bear market that we've had over the last year, over for a year now, when we were coming down, you heard so much groupthink talking about, hey, we're never going to go below 10,000. That's a big even number. We're just going to hit 10,000. We're going to continue this bull run. Then we broke the 10,000 and we had our death cross. And even then, people were saying that we're going to continue to go up. Don't worry about this. This is just a temporary. And there was a lot of evidence to show that we're going to have a long-term bull bear market. And it was pretty evident that we were. But as we continue to get lower, you would hear in the sentiment online, Twitter and YouTube, that if we ever got below, we're not going to go below 6,000. We're holding here. And if we do, I would, when it gets down to 4,000, buy, sell your house. 3,000, that's when if it gets down to 3,000, I'm going to go in with everything. And then as we get down here, guess what? People don't buy. It's a really weird psychology. It's an instinct for most people and for all people, really. You have to train yourself not to react that way. So it gets down here in the 3,200 region, and guess what? People aren't buying. People are still not really in it. They're actually getting more fearful. And when we pull out of this bear market and we come up with the bull, the same thing will happen. More experienced traders obviously will know better, typically are better at this, but definitely with less experienced traders and investors, they will start to buy. They'll wait. They'll still have a lot of fear. They'll wait till it comes up here. Then once it gets up to 17,000, 20,000, then they'll want to get back into the market, and they'll lose all of this fat right here. They'll lose all that meat that they weren't able to get back in the market because of their fear still. They weren't sure if we're going to pull back. And so this is the common cycle. And this happens with real estate, happens with crypto, happens with all assets. People are unable to buy low and sell high. And even if we have another drop down here, people would be fearful. And you would have that sentiment in the market that people are now thinking, man, it could go to zero. And if we do, I'm not saying we're going to, I'm just saying if we did. So that's pretty much all I want to say. It's a very simple concept, but I think it's an overlooked concept that people really don't examine and take a look at and fully understand. And it's something you really have to, like Baron Rothschild said, it says the time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. This is a very, kind of a famous quote. And it's so true. It is when there's blood in the streets, that's the time you want to buy. And that's when there's the most fear out there. That's when people don't want to buy. The average person does not want to buy at that time. And that's when you do want to come in the market. So you kind of have to work on your mind, something that you want to sit down, examine this. When you start to trade or invest, you're going to have the feelings, and kind of you want to do those opposites of your feelings of fear and greed. And when you're fearful, you should probably be thinking possibly maybe there's trading. Now, obviously, there's technical analysis, and you're working into your actual TA skills or your fundamentals if you're more of an investor. But obviously, there's those issues. But the concept still holds true. Buy low and sell high. I know it seems very obvious and straightforward, but think about it. All right, so if you like this, please give me a thumbs up, as well as like my channel and put on the alerts, man. And we're going to have some more videos coming out soon. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.